What is going on, my gamers? It is I, Birdman, back with another Warlock build. Ding, 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 I did a Warlock build. Ooh. Okay, let's get on with that. Yeah, the Titan guy is doing another Warlock setup. The other day during the Master Lost sector, I found a really awesome set of exotic gloves that I just had to do a build around. But before I get into this entire setup that you can use in Endgame, you can do it for those Master Lost sector, stuff like that, whatever you want. Know you can follow me over on YouTube and Twitter at Birdman778. Make sure you're giving a thumbs up on the video. Let me know something you're interested in seeing down below, whether it is Titan, Hunter, or Warlock. Subscribe to the channel and become a member. So let's jump right on into this build. So this is going to be a stasis setup for our Warlock, and obviously we always start with what exotic we're going to be using for that, and that's going to be the Osiomancy gloves. These are a super solid set of exotics for that, and they read forward cold snap. Your cold snap grenades have an additional charge that recharges quicker on direct impact, and the seekers spawned from cold snap grenades travel further. So essentially just juices up your cold snap to the point that they are essentially just constantly just spooling around, you know, moving around the battlefield, freezing different targets, whether they are just a regular red bar rank and file or a champion. And also the cold snaps are just really freaking good against those champions. I definitely like these specifically for the fact that whenever we hit a target, do a direct impact with that cold snap, we're going to get a lot more energy from that, but we're also going to get more energy from every time those seekers hit another target and freeze them. So that mixed with a lot of the stuff that we have in our subclass setup, fragment wise, is going to be very, very juicy. Obviously, we got to go into the subclass itself, and that's going to be the Shade Binder. You really don't have a choice on your super. Again, I would really love a Stasis 2.0, getting a lot more of those supers and also more fragments and aspects for all these characters, or even, you know, them just like adding a little bit more in between seasons. Like I just need more love for Stasis because it is freaking awesome. It's probably my favorite all around, but you know, at the same time, it's so ground level, it needs a little bit more. But getting bogged down with that different stuff, obviously when it comes to the melee, you have to use that penumbral blast, but this is really great for, you know, using against frozen targets to make them shatter. So I definitely recommend holding on for those moments. And obviously we have to use that cold snap grenade that freezes on impact and sends another seeker to find and freeze targets. So obviously, again, with those Osiomancy gloves, it's going to be an even more juiced up cold snap. For our aspects, we got to use Glacial Harvest. This is a big one. Freezing targets create stasis shards around the frozen target. Higher tier commands create more shards. Now we're going to be needing these shards throughout the entire setup because they're going to help with a lot of our armor charges and stuff. But stasis shards read a small shard of stasis matter that can be collected to restore melee energy. Obviously, this is a great way for us to get our melee back without having to, you know, put a bunch of different fragments or armor mods into having that melee come back faster. So definitely worth using. And next will be Ice Flare Bolts. Shatter a frozen target, spawn seekers that track and freeze other nearby targets. So we're just even more juicing up those seekers that we're going to be getting from our cold snap. So essentially anytime we freeze somebody, all of a sudden those seekers are going to shoot out and freeze a lot more targets around us, kind of constantly just putting everyone else on pause while you get to just, you know, demolish them. Fragment wise, we're going to be wanting Whisper of Fissures, increase the damage size and burst of the stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal and defeat a frozen target. Obviously huge for just kind of creating even bigger explosions, especially like think of a group of like 5 individuals are frozen. You destroy one of them, that burst is going to break those other 4, so it is really good for ad clear. Whisper of Shards, shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals increases the duration of this benefit. Obviously this is going to be very juiced up. We need this to get our grenade back as much as humanly possible because this entire setup is based around, you know, using those cold snaps. Whisper of Conduction, nearby stasis shards track to your position. This one's kind of a bit more of a, you know, luxury one, I would say. You could probably swap this out for the one where using primary ammo will get you more damage against frozen targets, but at the same time, the weapon we're using for this setup kind of just deals with that already, so you don't really have to worry about it. And finally, Whisper of Hunger, increased melee energy gain from picking up stasis shards. Again, kind of a luxury one. You probably could swap this out for something to get like maybe a little bit more like ability energy, or, you know, getting reload from breaking stasis shards, something like that. Again, I would say the first two are absolute must, while the other ones are kind of, you know, up in the air for your choice. Now, I keep talking about a weapon that's going to be really good for this setup, and that is going to be the Aegir Scepter. Guys, you know me, I'm feeling some type of way about trace rifles in this game, especially this one. This might be one of my top 3 favorite weapons in all of Destiny, period. But its intrinsic trait reads Aegir's Call. Final blows of this weapon generate a slowing burst around defeated targets. And the other one, Regnia's Refrain. Stasis final blows transfer ammo to this weapon's magazine from reserves. Really, really great all around, kind of similar to a lot of other stuff we see with other trace rifles. But the catalyst is freaking amazing. Drains super energy, outflowing the magazine, empowering the beam with bonus damage and ability to slow and freeze targets until the magazine or super energy runs out, or the weapon is stowed, can be activated when super energy is full. Really freaking awesome for, you know, especially Stasis. Again, before I was kind of talking about how I wish we had more, you know, Stasis supers to use and stuff like that. So this kind of like comes in as like, hey, I'll be the super for you. So I definitely recommend using this against big yellow bar bosses, champions, especially because it's going to just immediately stun them and you can just melt them. Well, it's funny I'm saying melting with this the Stasis gun, but you get my point. It's really freaking great. When it comes to the armor and mods we're going to be using for this setup on your helmet, I recommend something like a harmonic siphon. We're mainly going to be using Stasis weapons with this. I need to get some artifice armor for all of this character, and as well for my hunter as well. But once I'm doing that, I'll have a lot more mods I'll be able to take advantage of. But that plus in ashes to assets and hands-on makes sense to me to get that super back faster, so that we're able to take advantage of the Aegir Scepter catalyst. On the gloves, I recommend a double grenade kickstart because we're going to be getting plenty of armor charges from the stasis shards we're going to be using. Another mod that's going to be coming up here in a second will help with that, but having that grenade available all the time is really, really important, especially in that in-game content. But just in general, it's just really nice to be able to freeze everything. And then also momentum transfer, causing damage with the grenade reduces your melee cooldown, helping get that back a little bit. I would say this is one that you could maybe swap out for like a boltering detonation to get your class ability back faster. On our chest piece, we're going to be doing double concussive dampener and a charged up, so that we're able to get another stack of that armor charge and also be able to deter a lot more damage. On our boots, I recommend a stacks on stacks, so you get another armor charge every time you pick up an orb power or your stasis shard. And you're probably saying, Bird, I can't get armor charges from stasis shards. Yeah, you can with elemental charge, because every time you pick one of those up, you have a chance to get that. Definitely recommend doubling that up if you can. My stats don't allow that right now, but it is something that would be very beneficial for you to use. And then I also put on a recuperation, so I got a little bit of health back whenever I pick up an orb of power. And finally, on our Warlock Bond, a double distribution so that we get all those cooldowns whenever we activate our rift around people, and then a powerful attraction to pull all those in. When it comes to our artifact, it doesn't really help out for this setup other than something like Elemental Fury, giving that extra damage against champions, as well as Monochromatic Maestro, so that we're getting that extra damage boost for just, you know, doing anything in the game. In this section, I typically give suggestions on what you can swap in and out. I would say the Osiomancy glove should stay, but weapon-wise, something like a Wicked Implement or a Verglass Curve could be used pretty well, I would say. Just pretty much any stasis gun. You can even use like a legendary version, so anything like Headstone or something like that would be super beneficial. And then the other slots, this is kind of completely up to you. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you guys really enjoy it. Again, let me know what you've been loving watching recently from me down below. The Titan stuff, the Hunter stuff, the Warlock stuff. I'm going to be doing some theory stuff here soon too, so be on the lookout for that. But I just appreciate all the love and support on the recent videos. Again, make sure you follow me over on YouTube and Twitter at Birdman778. Give a thumbs up on this video, suggest something down below, subscribe, and become a member. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great night, day, or what it may be.